Folks, last week we learned that Chad Carson is an entrepreneur, and myself, I'm an employee. You can go back and watch his playlist for all these great interviews and discussions. I want to dig a little bit deeper because something bothers me. I believe the great Alex Hormozi, Gary V, Codie Sanchez are extremely inspirational. They are doing amazing things and helping a lot of folks. But I think inadvertently, Chad, and I want to get your opinion on this, they are basically poo-pooing W-2 employees and celebrating entrepreneurship. And I got to tell you, from where I sit, most people are employees. And I will add that I think most people could earn financial freedom with their day job and less risk. What do you think of all that? Go.
Yeah, I don't think we could put everybody in the same box. That's the summary of this. Like they're entrepreneurs, they're employees, and they can end up at the same destination. And this going to be a wildly different ride, on the way there. But I'll just give you an anecdote story. Like I've been in the financial independence movement, with just hanging out with other people who tried to retire early and achieved financial independence at a very short period of time, like 5, 10, 15 years. And if I just think about like 10 random people that I know in that community, almost all of them had a W-2 job, saved their money, and then invested that money. Most of them they did index funds, and I've got my real estate corner that we kind of have fun with, but most of them either real estate or with a stock market, just dollar cost averaged into the market. They saved a bunch of money, they worked a job, and then they left the job at some point, or they went part-time. They're always still working. So I guess that's just my personal experience with people who have been successful achieving financial freedom. It's like a 9 out of 10 have been W-2 employees. And there's that one weirdo like me who got right out of college. Like I'm weird. And I jumped out of college and said, this is basically the same person who jumps out of the airplane and says, "It's putting the parachute on as they're jumping out."
You're holding it in your hand. I got to put this thing on.
Yeah, as I'm falling. That's the entrepreneur, right? And some people like that. Like some people are not afraid of heights and they can go climb on the side of mountains, and that's the equivalent of what an entrepreneur is. And I love it. Like I love the entrepreneurial culture. When I find an entrepreneur, I'm like, I want to feed that. I want to feed it, right? But at the same time, as a teacher, as a coach, as a content creator, we've got to recognize that we all have different strengths. It's like personality tests. We got to play to our strength and not try to put everybody in the same box. And so I like that you're relating to the 9 out of 10 people and saying, and I try to do the same thing, say, hey, it could be simple. You can keep it simple. You don't have to, this doesn't have to be a fancy, super exciting superhero entrepreneur kind of journey. This can be a pretty boring journey from the outside looking in, but that it could end up in a really exciting place.
Yeah, when I read your book, Small and Mighty Real Estate Investor, I mean, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I read that. And again, maybe it's because of my purview. I read that as a full-time employee, right? I think the small and mighty real estate investors, in my opinion, are mainly full-time employees. Because if you're going to be an entrepreneur and just do this, you got to have this other income streams or chunk money or things to move forward. But I just want W-2 employees to realize you can do it. Believe in yourself. And I want to be clear, most of you can do it in 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? Or less. It's you got to make choices. You got to sacrifice. One thing that I'm doing on my channel recently is I'm interviewing brand new real estate investors, brand new being 2 or 3 years in the game. And all of them have made big sacrifices to get started. One person, Denzel, and his wife sold a home, bought a duplex, right? They house hacked. They sold the big home, the nice home, bought a duplex. Others have lived below their means in big way. They're driving cars with 300,000 miles on it, right? They're not keeping up with their Joneses and their friends. It works. Everybody I know who's earned financial freedom had to make tough choices. It's the price of admission, in my opinion.
Yeah, when you look at I'm a football guy, so the blocking and tackling of financial freedom is really simple. You've got to earn more money, you got to spend less, and then you got to take those savings, the difference, and you got to put it into quality assets that are going to grow over time. Like, I don't care if you're an entrepreneur, I don't care if you're a W-2 employee. Like the rules
don't change.
That's the rules. And so if you're a W-2 employee, your income, like it might have a ceiling on it. There's some people, I would say the entrepreneurs in the room often are somebody who didn't like the ceiling that they were hitting. They're saying, all right, I'm making 60 grand in this job. Is, you know, my wife and I are both teachers, and, you know, we're not paying us enough. So I want to be an entrepreneur on the side. I'm a firefighter and I want to be an entrepreneur. It's a way to like increase your income, especially as a side hustle. Like I love being a side entrepreneur
Yeah.
while you have the W-2 job. But the formula for financial freedom is the same. It's like you have to earn more, you got to spend less, and those sacrifices people make, those are big. Like those are not, they're not, you know, talked about enough. They're not as sexy as going and starting a new business, but that's what leads to success. And so I'm with you 100%. Like we need to celebrate that. We need to celebrate those tough times. Those like when you're a new investor and you're just making that first house hack, you're driving that 300,000 mile car, and when all your friends are kind of laughing and say, "What are you doing?" You know, like you got to enjoy your life. Why are you putting all the enjoyment off till later? And you know inside though that no, this is an investment. I'm making an investment in my freedom and my happiness, and that and if you're really honest with yourself, the people who are going for financial freedom, they like that journey. They like that even though it's uncomfortable in the short run, they like that they're bold and they're going for something big when a lot of people are kind of laughing at it.
Yeah. The last thing I will take away from, I've done, I think 7 new investor interviews. I have 6 or 7 more scheduled. Something that I'm really encouraged by, Chad, is when there's a couple, sometimes they're single, but a lot of them are married or in relationships. They talk about money a lot. That is one of the big things that I've seen different from the people that earn freedom and don't, is the number and consistency of talking about money. Money's not a 4-letter word. It's okay to talk about. I wish more people would.
I agree. Yeah, my own story. My wife and I first met. She was in the outdoors. She into the environmental movement, which I respected as well. But she like money, like she was like capitalist. You know, like who are you?
Dirty word.
Dirty word. And so, and I met, you know, and I was an entrepreneur, and I pulled up to her apartment to pick her up for the first date, and I had a car with "We Buy Houses" like plastered along a part of the side of it. I was like in pure sales mode, just entrepreneur. And I asked her later, I was like, "What did you think about me pulling up with that We Buy Houses car?" And she's like, "I thought you were just driving the company car. I didn't think that was your car. Like, I didn't know you were an entrepreneur." But but we started talking about money. I guess is the whole point of that, is that we kind of found some common ground, and it wasn't easy at first to have that discussion. But I feel like having that conversation early led to us doing very practical things like starting a budget together. Like we used to do the old school Dave Ramsey cash envelope system. Like we would put a $500 in our grocery envelope and $200 in our eating out envelope. And at the end, if we got to the 21st of the month and we used up all of our eating out, we're like, okay, like go to the pantry, you know, it's some bees. And so like that was something, if we had not had the conversation and try to figure out why we were on the same page and why we were doing this. Like for her, she didn't really think making money was that cool, but I started saying, well, what if you could do she's a teacher. Like, what if you could teach people who don't have enough money just because you want to teach them, and who cares if they pay you or not? Like, wouldn't that be cool? Or so we kind of framed it in
connected a why. You got her why.
Exactly. And that conversation happened. So then the hard, difficult driving the 300,000 mile car, which I did as well, and sacrificing happened as a couple. And we were so much stronger because of that.
Folks, sacrifice is the price of admission. You either pay it or you don't. It's your call. Chad, where can people find you?
Coach Carson is my platform. You can find my podcast here on YouTube every single Monday. I also wrote the book, The Small and Mighty Real Estate Investor. You can find it on Bigger Pockets. You can find it on Amazon. It's on Audible as well. And would love to connect with all the small and mighty investors out there who just want to buy one rental at a time, build big wealth, and have some financial freedom.
Folks, go check him out. Let him know you came from one rental at a time so he knows his half hour with us is worthwhile. Thank you, buddy.